Dixie here. Typically when I talk about backpacking gear, I'm reviewing stuff that's on the more expensive side of the price spectrum. But not all backpacking gear costs an arm and a leg. And I figured for those of y'all who are new to the game, that are still trying to build your gear list, it might be useful if I go over some items that are $30 or less. So today I'm gonna cover some things in that price range that either I currently use, have used in the past, or I plan to use in the future. Don't worry about having to write any of this stuff down because I'm gonna have a link in the video description to a ladder packs list with every item I talk about, and there will be links to each of the products. To start things off, my BRS stove has been with me since my thru-hike of the CDT in 2018. Now, it has been temperamental at times, but it's never failed me to work. And I will say there are other stoves out there that are likely more fuel efficient. But what really hits the selling point for me on this stove is you can get them for about $16 to $17 on Amazon, and they only weigh just under an ounce. Next up is old trusty, my Stanco aluminum grease pot. I've had this pot with me since my thru-hike of the AT back in 2015, so it's probably done close to around 10,000 miles or so, possibly more at this point. And it has cooked for me on fires, on my stove. I've even soaked my ingrown infected toenails in this food pot, so it's really seen and experienced a lot. It only weighs 3.5 ounces and is available on Amazon for $13 to $14. Used to be you could buy them at Kmart for like $8. But while I love this pot, I should throw out the cautionary statement to do your research about cooking and eating from aluminum cookware. It's not made to be a pot to cook on. I just use it for that. It's made to be a grease pot where you separate your bacon solids from the grease. But to my knowledge, the research on whether it's safe or not is not conclusive. So you'll have to figure out what you feel comfortable with. There are titanium food pots that are less than $30, but they don't have as much capacity. The Stanco pot will hold about a liter of water, while most of the titanium pots that are under $30 are about 550 milliliters. So it really depends on what volume of water you'll need. If you're gonna do something like pasta sides or rice sides, then you probably want closer to that 1 liter mark. If you're just gonna be boiling water for coffee or to throw in something like a Mountain House meal, then you'd probably be just fine with the 550 milliliter. Toothbrushes. Yes, most toothbrushes are gonna cost less than $30, but there's a particular one on Garage Grown's website that I wanna check out. I'm gonna order it probably later today. But for a pack of 5, they're typically $3. Right now they're on sale for $1.50 for 5, but they weigh about 4 grams, just a little under, so they're definitely made with the gram weenie in mind. But what makes this one seem better than just breaking off the handle of a toothbrush is, 1, they're so inexpensive, but 2, they've got a wider little grip area for your thumb and your finger. With how much they're not going to add weight to my pack and they won't take up space and the good price, I definitely have to try it out. Bandanas. They are very versatile pieces of gear, and I feel like all backpackers carry at least one with them, if not multiple. For myself, I like to have one in my food pot kitchen setup so I can use it as a pot holder and also to dry my pot after I've cleaned it. But they can be used for all sorts of medical purposes like splints or, you know, as a snot rag, especially if you're in colder temperatures. And these are really easy to find either online or at your local Walmart. Lock laces. I love these things because I hate having to tie my shoe with my pack on, or worse, take it off and then tie my shoes. With lock laces, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You just replace your shoelaces in your trail runners or boots with this little bungee cord that ends up having a clip on the end of it, and then you can tighten them down or loosen them up to whatever's comfortable. They are available on Amazon in different colors to match whatever footwear you have. Another item for feet that I've really grown to love is Dr. Scholls for plantar fasciitis. A lot of hikers end up with some kind of different inserts than what comes factory in their trail runners or boots. And it seems like a lot of folks are attracted to super feet, but those tend to be at least $50 a pair, if not closer to $60. So Dr. Scholls for plantar fasciitis was something I decided to give a try, and they only cost about 15 bucks. They've definitely helped my feet to give them more arch support, which has in turn helped with my plantar fasciitis issues. Another kitchen item is the Toaks long handle titanium spoon. You can get this online for $10. It's very lightweight, and yeah, maybe you could find a plastic utensil that was more lightweight than this, but they don't have the durability that titanium does. I used to use a spork, but I found out I didn't need the prongs, so the spoon works out just fine. And I like the long handle, even though it looks a little excessive in everyday life, just because if you're going to eat something like a Mountain House backpacking meal, then you don't have to dig your whole hand down in the pouch and put your dirty hand in your clean food and also make your hand dirtier by getting spaghetti sauce on it. For water filtration, the Sawyer Mini is in the price range of $20 to $25. This filter works well and takes out anything from the water that you'd really need to worry about out on trail here in the US, like bacteria, protozoa, and microplastics. While I do prefer the standard size Sawyer Squeeze because it has a higher flow rate, I've used the Mini and it worked for me just fine. And I like this type of system, either the Mini or the standard Sawyer Squeeze, because you can scoop your dirty water up in something like a smart water bottle or anything that has that standard threading on the top. Twist on your filter, drink through the filter, and truck along. A ladder is something I feel like people can easily overlook or forget to bring with them on a backpacking trip, but it's always a good idea to have, even if you're somebody that's not gonna cook while you're out on trail, because you should always be able to make a fire if you need to. I like to carry a regular ladder and then a Mini as a backup, but I have to brag on the Bic brand in general because one ladder has lasted me an entire thru-hike. And these, of course, are very inexpensive, maybe $1 to $2, and can be picked up at your local gas station. Pack liners are an inexpensive piece of gear that I feel like hikers can't have too many of. I mean, I guess you could, but you're always gonna wear one out and need another one, so it's good to have some backups. I've been using for the past several years Gossamer Gear's pack liners. They come in a pack of 2 for $5 on their website. But recently when I purchased my Atom Packs pack, I got the Nylofume pack liner, and it seemed a bit more flimsy, but it's held up absolutely fine. And you can get a pack of 2 of those on Garage Grown's website for $4.50, and they actually weigh 0.3 ounces lighter than the pack liners from Gossamer Gear. Trekking poles. While they aren't the highest quality trekking poles I've ever used, I do have a pair of Cascade Mountain Tech lightweight aluminum trekking poles I got on Amazon for about $30. Stakes. Whether you're staking out a tent or a rain fly for a hammock, these are also things that it's good to have plenty of because sometimes they can be left behind if they're hard to spot. Stakes are also one of those personal preference type things, and the type of stake you want to get may vary depending on where you're going to be backpacking, what type of ground you'll be putting the stake into. But where there's a will, there's a way, so I've made the most minimalist type shepherd hook stake from Z-Packs work where people would say that couldn't work. I've also used MSR groundhog stakes, the little mini ones. But regardless, you can get a set of tent stakes for under $30. A trowel. The most popular ultralight trowel in the backpacking community is probably the Deuce of Spades. It weighs less than an ounce and costs around $20 or so. I used one of these for a little while, but honestly, I just don't really like trowels, and this one didn't work super well for me in the area that I was in. So I've found just collapsing my trekking pole and using the end of my trekking pole to dig a cat hole works best for me. But if you are somebody that does want a trowel specifically, then this is one that you can get that a lot of people seem to like. A Dyneema Wallet. If you're wanting to keep some credit cards, cash, and ID with you on trail, but you don't want to carry your big old bulky wallet, Dyneema wallets are nice, especially the zip-up ones that stay waterproof, because one, they're waterproof, so if your pack does leak or your tent does leak, then if you've got something you don't want getting wet, it won't get wet. Also, they're very lightweight and pretty inexpensive. You can get a Dyneema Wallet online for about $10. And I actually use one of these on trail and in my everyday life. A bear bag. I typically use Z-Pack's bear bagging kit, which comes with a Dyneema food bag and cord and a little rucksack, but that comes in above the $30 or less limit. So if you're looking for something a little bit more affordable, I have used Sea to Summit food bags in the past, or even at Walmart or Academy, you can often find dry bags, not the type that you would go kayaking with, but the kind that would hang in a rainstorm and not get everything completely soaked. So anyway, there are several affordable lightweight options out there. In the same vein, bear cord is typically something that's pretty inexpensive. I recommend Z-Line made by Z-Packs because it's compact and very lightweight. I know a lot of beginners think, oh, if I need cordage out in the woods, then I'll just go with paracord. But that stuff can be pricey and also very bulky and especially heavy. Z-Packs offers several different weights of cord, so you can read the different options and see what you prefer, but they come in 50-foot increments, which is perfect for bear bagging, and all of their options that are 50-foot increments are under $30. So now, even if you are not going out on your first backpacking trip, you can at least start going on day hikes, keep your food in your food bag, and practice your bear bagging while you're taking a break out there. Gaiters. If you're somebody that wants to add some extra pizzazz to your ankles, and you notice that you've got a problem with debris like rocks and sticks flying up into your shoes and causing problems where you got to take your shoes off and empty them out, then Gaiters might be for you. I tried them for a little while, but I didn't notice that it really made a difference for me. And also, it was just like another thing to fuss with or tend to, so I decided to ditch them. But I think it depends on the way you walk, your footwear, etc. So if you notice you're having to empty your shoes out a lot, then this might be something that helps you out. But you can find Dirty Girl Gaiters, which seem to be the most popular brand, or there are also some on that Garage Grown website that I saw were under $30. Female urination devices. This is something I've been wanting to try for a long time, mainly just because I want to have an opinion. When people ask me my thoughts on different urination devices, I have no idea because I've never used any. I just go by word of mouth and what I've heard from other people. The most popular brands that I've heard of are the Shiwi and the P-Style. If y'all have any other recommendations, I will be in the market soon for one of these to test it out, so feel free to throw that in the comments below. In the same bathroom category, I want to try out the Culo Clean attachment, which is essentially just a very ultralight attachment for a water bottle that makes an on-trail bidet. Again, I mainly want to try this just so I have an opinion, but it weighs less than a ½ ounce and costs about $10 online. I don't know that I'll be testing this out on the Arizona Trail because to me in the desert you want to conserve as much water as possible, so I'll probably stick to using toilet paper and baby wipes. But at some point I would like to be able to offer some experience on a trail bidet, and until I go for it, I won't know. Clothing. Now of course the price and weight will vary on this depending on your sizes and personal preferences, but most items of clothing for backpacking, you don't have to buy the most expensive name brand to have a successful thru hike. For example, my sports bra that I always use on trail, I've got multiples of the same brand, but it's a BCG brand sports bra from Academy Outdoors and it cost me $15. I like Darn Tough and Farm to Feet socks. Those are typically about $20 or less a pair. What I love about them is while it can be a bit of a shock to think of spending $20 on a pair of socks, they have a lifetime warranty. So if you ever wear a hole in them, they're happy to replace them. The underwear that I like, ex officios, are also about $20 a pair. But all of these are just my preferred go-to items, but you can even get things cheaper if you go to Walmart. They sell synthetic tops, leggings, fleeces, so that you've got something to keep you warm while you're sleeping at night or while you're hiking during the day. If you remember, I did a Walmart run not too long back where I got all of my gear from Walmart and it was pretty budget friendly. So if you're on a tight budget, I would hazard a guess to say that you could definitely get each clothing item for less than $30 at a Walmart. Since it is the holiday season, I do think a lot of these items would make for good stocking stuffers for the hiker in your life. Some things that could also be thrown into a stocking or would make good gifts could be food items. If the person that you're buying for likes to cook while they're out on trail, things like the Mountain House meals, especially the lasagna and spaghetti, are good. Also snacks like the typical Snickers. I would say most backpackers get over trail mix within the first couple of times that they go backpacking, so I wouldn't recommend that unless you just know the person really loves it. But if you're looking for some snacks for a person that might want more of a clean type diet, then I highly recommend the meat and veggie bars from Wild Zora. Their backpacking meals are pretty good too, and I would be happy if I received those as a gift. I also like snacks that maybe people don't think of right off the top of their head, but like a packet of black olives, for example, would be delicious. And I've gotten those in the little single size servings. Obviously nobody wants to carry a can down the trail. And finally, one of my other favorite cleaner snacks are Heather's Choice Packaroons, and I notice right now that they have a candy cane flavored one. Now these are very coconut based, so if you or a person you're getting this for does not like coconuts, then these probably are not for you. But they're $2.50 a snack. So anyway, all of these snacks and meals in their single form are definitely under $30. Just a side note before I get out of here, several videos ago I mentioned the potential of doing homemade Wanderlust calendars if people were interested in that. Well, they are finally available in the Homemade Wanderlust shop, and I've got several different designs available of 2023 calendars. This one in particular, because this is like the recent travels edition. So the photos in this calendar will only be available as a 2023 version, and then the calendar for 2024 will be photos from the year of 2023, but we will probably continue to have like an AT, a PCT, and a CDT calendar for all of the years to come. As you can see, these have metal spiral binding and a little loopy doodad to make it easy to hang it on the wall. And then to change each month, you just flip it around like so. So y'all can get on the website and actually see a grid with thumbnails of all of the photos in each calendar, so you can make the selection of which one you'd like. And also, I recently put 2 different prints up in the shop. There are several sizing options, and you can get it with a frame or without a frame, etc. But these 2 moments are really special to me because they were 2 of the most spectacular moments I've ever experienced on trail. One being the sunrise with the cloud inversion on top of Mount Elbert after doing that sunrise summit and having a failed summit before that particular summit. And then the second being the sunrise over the volcano that I camped by in Iceland. But anyway, I wanted to let y'all know about these in this particular video, because if you're gonna have one of these under your tree by Christmas, you kind of need to order like now. And then as always, the Homemade Wanderlust shop has all of your typical stuff like t-shirts, koozies, sticker, patches, etc. All right, y'all, well, that's all I have for you today. If you can think of any other gear items that I've forgotten about that meet the $30 or under requirement that you use while you're backpacking, feel free to share that in the comments below. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and we will see y'all next time.